Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah. I really got the feeling today
Audio Jungle.
that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about.
Audio Jungle.
Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Let's go. Nothing's gonna stop us today.
Audio Jungle.
Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on.
Audio Jungle.
So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Let's go. Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Let's go.
Welcome to another Friday. It's Functions Friday. Sorry for the late transmission. This was due to some internet challenges I was facing, so I was dropping frames all over. So thankfully, it's stable now. So sorry for that. But today we're gonna have some fun, some really good fun. Let me adjust my light. We're gonna have some really good, cool fun. As usual, it is Functions Friday. And today we're going to be talking about how to use the Azure Q storage trigger. And I'll show you how to use that and give you some scenarios of what you can use that to do when we come back. Awesome. So we are back. As always, I like to get a few things out of the way before we get started. First of them is tomorrow, the 30th of November, the Microsoft User Group Ghana is holding the second edition of the Microsoft 365 Bootcamp. I'll be speaking there on actionable messages in Outlook. So if you've not registered, head to that URL and see if you can register quickly. And then also, um, MCT Summit, Abuja, Nigeria. Yes, I'm speaking also on that, on the various AI services in Microsoft Azure. I'll be talking on that. So I'm not sure if that's going to be streamed live, but I'll find out and give you and get you that information to you. But MCT Tech Africa, I'll be there speaking tomorrow. The Microsoft 365 Bootcamp is happening, and then don't forget on the 14th of December, the .NET user group is organizing the Global AI Bootcamp. Lots and lots of fun, lots of packed speakers to give you a lot of sessions. You have hands-on sessions, I mean lab sessions. So don't miss it for anything. If you've not signed up, please go sign up because the seats are running out really fast. Yep, now with that out of the way, happy Thanksgiving to my US family and friends. Take it easy on the turkey, and I will be coming for mine pretty soon. So, with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. So, for the past few weeks, we've been talking about functions. Obviously, that's what the channel is about. Azure functions. We've seen what they are, what they can be used for. We talked about the HTTP trigger. We looked at the timer. We looked at the storage. Now we're going to look at the queue. So we look at the blob. We looked at the blob storage in last episode. We're going to look at queue storage today. Now, I had a conversation with a friend who has been following my channel closely and giving me some advice, or some, I would want to say some guidance. Um, so let me put this in perspective. So I have three shows running on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Tuesdays is IoT Tuesdays, which is a show dedicated to IoT on the Microsoft on stack and then open IoT solutions, right? And then Fridays is dedicated to Functions Friday, which is solely for Azure Functions and its serverless, counterpart and all that stuff. Now, Sunday is Demystify Technology with Sam. So we're coding. That's like my live coding session. Now, I just want to put this in perspective. Now, everything I'm doing has an end goal. It's all going to come together in one project. So on the IoT Tuesdays, we're just seeing how to use the various. Now, currently, I'm introducing you to the various IoT boards. That is because at the end, there's going to be a project. Now, the rest of the year, I'm going to be introducing you to basics, concept, fundamentals, and all that. That is because beginning first quarter of 2020, we're going to be doing series of project-based shows. So which means that there's going to be a project for a duration of time. All right. And that is going to use everything I have shown you right now, like all the fundamentals, everything I've shown you. That's what we're going to be using on how do you call it? On that show. So that's the reason why I'm taking time to do the introduction now. The same thing for IoT, the same thing for functions. So don't be worried. There are a lot of cool projects coming in the first quarter, but for now, till the end of the year, we're trying to understand the various services, the various technologies and tools. So when we start to do the project-based solutions, you would understand it and appreciate it a lot more come to context. All right. With that, without much ado, someone is hitting my phone. Who could that be? Let's see. All right, let's just get right into it. That's why I like live interactions. All right. So first of all, let's talk about what Azure storage queues are. Now we've talked about blob storage. Blob storage is like storing technically files and all that. Now queue storage is another component within the Azure storage account. Now it's just a service that allows you to store, large number of messages. All right. So large number of messages. Now your messages, you can access these messages from anywhere in the world. Right, either by HTTP or HTTPS. All right. Now, a queue can be, I think for now it's about 64 kilobytes. I might be, yeah, I think, yeah, it's about 64 kilobytes. So your message, a queue message can be up to 64 kilobytes. All right. Now, and also a queue may contain millions of messages. Once the capacity for your storage has not been reached, you can use the queue for that. Now, queues are commonly used to create kind of like backlog of work or processing that has to happen. Let me show you. I'm going to show you something that should just give you an idea. Let's say that, let's say for instance, all right, you're running some platform that has what we call like order processing. So let me show you this, all right? Like order processing, and then what you want to do is that you want the ability to send off requests or things to be done. In the picture you can see there's a queue and you have images to download, images to resize. Now, sometimes you're performing work that the user doesn't need to wait for. All right. For instance, the person signs up and uploads a picture, and then you have like a function that resizes the picture. All right, and then creates a thumbnail for that person's profile. All right. So, just a sec. Yeah, sorry about that disruption. Yeah, so queues are the best solutions for that. So if you are performing tasks that are not necessarily needed immediately or needed near real time, and you want to perform some asynchronous work, you can use queue. So you can dump the messages in queue, and then queue will pick it up. So usually, messages that are put into queue technically will probably contain, let's say, the blob URL to that file. An example would be I just uploaded a picture. All right. Now I need to call another function that is going to resize the picture that I put there. So I would enqueue that message, and then in part of the queue would contain the URL to where that picture or that file has been uploaded. So when the message pops up in the queue and my function is called, I can decide to do anything on that function with that information. So today we're going to see how to create a trigger, a function that is triggered by a message being dropped in a queue, and then we'll go ahead to create another queue, all right, which is going to serve as an output to our function that is also going to write the queue. So giving an idea of, well, when something hits the queue, we can also output it to another queue. So let's get let's get into this. And as always, we go to our Azure. So where is that? Let's open this as usual. Let's go to portal. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Let's go to portal.azure.com. Okay. Yep. Let's get into our account and let me make sure I have. Let's see. I'm just making sure that I have my extension turned on. Yeah, I'm currently using an extension that actually um, makes sure that. Why do I keep clicking this? I'm looking for more tools. I'm looking for extensions. Yep, this is supposed to be on. Awesome. My extension is turned on now. So let's go. So I went to download I went to download a plugin, right, that was supposed to allow me to show my key combinations, and it was just showing everything. So ideally, if I were to be typing my password, you guys will see the password. So I quickly disabled that. All right, so let's go to our function. I think our resources functions Friday here. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let's get into it. Awesome. Thanks, guys. We're having fun. We are having fun. We're having fun. We're having fun. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, we're having lots of fun on the show today, right? Okay, so we have a Functions Friday node because so far we've been working with JavaScript, so we're sticking to that. I mean, you're free to choose any other if you want to, but I am sticking to JavaScript. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. And sorry for, that multiple thing going. So, yeah, if you realize my subscription has been blurred out, that is because of the extension I'm using. So the extension is written specifically to find areas on the Azure portal where there are sensitive information and it blurs it out. Because I'm doing a live program, I need to do that so that some of the critical information doesn't get out that people can just mess up with me. So that's why I'm doing that. So obviously we've seen this a couple of times now. So I click on the add function, and sometimes, if this is the first time you're doing it, you might be prompted to install the storage extension. We saw this last week where we're prompted to install the storage extension. Now, once you've done that within the scope of your functions, it's there for you to use. And yes, some of you have been asking, you want the functions in my GitHub repo. Yes, I will do that. For some reason I've just been lazing about with getting the stuff onto the blog and creating the GitHub repo, but I would sure do that when I come back from Nigeria for the MCT summit. So let's go here, and yep, so we click here on the blob, sorry, Q storage trigger. We give it a name. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's see. Let's close this. Let's open the functions node, and let's click here, and let's do this again. Yeah, there you go. So we'll call this our Q demo, and yeah, I'll just remember the name of this. The Q name is JSQ items. All right, I'm gonna put that here so that I don't. So this will be an input because that's what's triggering it. So let's do this, and then that's the Q name. U E UE. queue name. That's our queue name. This is our function name queue demo. That's our queue name, and the storage, because we are already using the functions Friday storage. I'm going to keep it there. Looks like it's hiding behind it. So let me push this here. Yeah. So because we're using the functions Friday storage, I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to click create. Now you're going to you're going to do this in conjunction with the Azure Storage Explorer, because that allows you to kind of like on the side access all your Azure storage or explore them and then do stuff. So technically that is it. This has created the function for us, and then the bindings are exposing our queue as queue item. So in here you can create any logic or write any code, all right, that uses this queue item, the message for something. All right, whatever it is, whatever you want, you can just use it to process it. Once we're done with this, I'll actually show you how to pass um, the message from this queue to another queue, which will create as an output queue. So now that this is created, a few steps we need to do. Remember our queue. So let me actually go ahead and then click on the integration for that function, the queue demo function. Click on integration. All right. There you go. And because the trigger, so the trigger we have is a queue, it's another queue trigger. This is the name of the parameter, my queue item. That is what you're seeing in the function, and it's using the storage. Now, if you go here under document, if you expand the document tab, you're going to see info about the account name and then the key, the storage key. All right. So I need to make reference. I need to store this information as the account name. All right, and then the account key. So we need this because I'm going to use the Azure Storage Explorer to connect to this my storage account. Once I have the storage account, I can then go ahead and make sure that I have that queue created ready to receive, the data. Because this is a bit sensitive, I'm going to close this out for a sec. Um, so that I can actually copy my key. And once I'm done with that, I can show you what it is. Okay, so awesome. So now I have that information. I have my functions created. So what I want to do is that let's go back to the function, the queue demo, and then I just want to open the log so we can see what's happening in there. All right. So with this done, I'm just going to open the Storage Explorer right here, and then the account name and the account key that I copied from the functions portal, I'm going to use that to actually connect, all right, to the service. So I'm going to click connect from here, and I'll choose connect. The environment is Azure, and then I'll use storage account name and key. All right. That's what I'm going to use, and then I'll click next. So here it's asking me to, I'll probably say, let's call this functions Friday storage, right? Then account name, if you remember, was function Friday. That I can share with you, but unfortunately I can't share the key with you, so we got to do this again. Yep, enter this, next, connect. We come back. And yeah, there we go. 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 Successfully added a new connection. Yep. Yep. There we go. So functions Friday. This is it. So if you go under queues, yeah, as you can see, we have our demo. Okay, this is because we're using the same function, so there are a few, how do you call it? There are a few queues in there that I've created. Now, if you remember the queue name, we mentioned that the queue name was actually JSQ items. So I need to make sure that I have that queue ready. Let's see if I can zoom this up a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to right click here and then click on create queue, and I just make sure that JSQ items is created as the queue. All right. So now we have that queue created. So let's do this. I'm just going to, yeah, bring it up here so you can see. So this down here is the functions console, and then this up here is the queue. All right, the storage explorer. So let me go ahead and click here to add. This looks a bit small. Let's see what I can do here. Let me go to my live stream tools. Let me open zoom it, and then let's go back to, yeah, let's go back to this. And where is our storage explorer? Right here. All right, so let me see, control one. Yeah, that, okay, cool. So now you can at least I'm just zooming in here, so let's keep it here. So when I click here, all right, I can click here to add a message, and when I do that, the message should pop up down here. Okay, so let's do that. So click this, and the message I want to add is hello, welcome to functions. So think about this as, like I mentioned, it could be anything, and this expires in 7 days. So this function is going to be there 7 days before it's kicked out of the queue, right? So at least it can retry and ensure that we have it delivered. um, I'll do a complete video on queues and a complete write-up on queues later on, but for now, let's just keep it this. So this is a message we are passing in, and if we click OK, keep your eye down here in the console, right? Keep your eye there in the console, and let's do this. So let's hit OK, and bam, it shows out there, as you can see right there. All right, as you can see here, hello, welcome to functions. So context Java queue trigger function process work item, and that is just what it passed. So that is how simple it is to create a function triggered by dropped um, a message dropped in the queue. All right, so we added this. Let's add another one so you can actually see it. So let's say I love Azure. All right, and then I do this, bam, and that also loads, and you can see it showing right here. Now, so imagine that you are receiving comments, all right? You are receiving comments, and you want to do some content moderation, all right? Let's pause a bit, and let's pause and talk about this for a while. So someone is asking, what's the use case for this? And I'm saying that imagine you have a website or some application or something, and you are taking comments, all right? You're taking comments for people, from viewers, from whatever, all right? And you want to do some form of content moderation. Now, when they enter the comment or the info, you don't want it to directly, appear on your site. A possible solution might be you're going to put all the messages in a queue, and then you have maybe another function that is calling cognitive services, moderation services, to actually moderate all the messages one after the other. All right, and then once the moderation is done, and the cognitive services returns a positive sentiment or positive result, then you can probably even send it to another maybe queue, you know and that will be the ready to publish or ready to process queue. Is that okay? So that's like another example of using that. So now we've been able to create a function that is triggered when a message is put in a queue, right? So now we can see that that's happening. Now, what about in the same function? Now we want to create another queue, and what this queue is going to serve us is an output binding. If you remember when I started, I mentioned that you can have binding serve as triggers, input, and output. So this output binding, we can call this to say that, well, anytime a message comes, all right, let's put that in the output binding. Now, to make this even a lot easier, right? There's an output in there, but I'm going to take you through the process to create a new one. So what you want to do is, in integrate for the same function you created, we click on that. Let's see. Let me bring this to a full screen so you can see that. And then we go to outputs. So in outputs, we select a new output, and you can see we can output to Excel, Outlook Mail, Cosmos DB, OneDrive, Event Hub, SendGrid. We can output to a lot of these services. So let's just use another queue storage. All right. So I select this, I go down and I click select. Now it's going to process this, and this is also going to give me the parameter name that is going to be referenced in my function. Okay, so I can call this output queue item. I just have to remember the name of that because I'll reference it in code. Output. Let me call this parameter name so that I can access that in my code. And then here we have to make sure that we are using the same storage and the queue name. So the queue, the output queue we are creating, let's call this demo dash output queue. All right, demo output queue. So let's copy this. Awesome. So once we're done with this, I can click on save, and because I am using the same storage, right, the same storage, I don't need to go to document and get the the account name and the key because it's the same storage. So we'll skip this, and we've already connected to that account, to that storage in how do you call it, in our storage explorer. So now if we come back to our storage explorer, all right, here, let's refresh this. So within the same queue, all right, I'm going to right click and create a new queue. And this new queue, if you remember, the queue name is demo output queue. So let's right click here, create a new queue, do that. And that's it. All right, let's refresh. So when I refresh this, as you can see, there's nothing in the queue right now. Let me control one and show you this. As you can see, there is nothing in the queue. All right, there's nothing. So this is the demo. As you can see here, this is the demo output queue. All right, and then this one here is the input, the one that triggered queue, what we created. So this is what is going to trigger the function when we write a message here, and we need to now go into our function and add a code that will send whatever information that has been sent, and then maybe append something to it and put it here. All right, so let's see how we can do that. So again, so in the code here, all I need to do right now is to say, right, as simple as context. Let me copy this because it's a binding. So context dot, let's call bindings. Unfortunately, there's no IntelliSense here, so I could have done this in Visual Studio Code, right, and get and enjoy all the IntelliSense and all that. So context dot binding. All right. Now, what's the name of the output binding? If you remember, the parameter is what? This is it. This is it. Output queue bind. If you found wanting, just go to view files here on the right side. Let me open this up a bit, and then you can select the functions or JSON file. Oh no, cancel. Let me actually save this. Yeah, let me just hit save here just to make sure that I'm not losing what I have typed. All right. Now, if I go to function.json here, this is it. If you check your bindings, this is an in. This is your output. This is the name of it. All right. Output queue item is an output binding. So this is the name of the binding. So context bindings and then the name. All right. So let's go to our index. That's it. So that's how we access it. So context bindings and then the name of the output. All right. So right now, all we want to do is that now the value for this is, let's use a string interpolation. So let's do $this. So we are passing what? My queue, which is what was brought in, and then we'll just append, let's say, what do we do? Let's say hyphen processed. All right. So that's all we're doing. That's just virtually it. So all this function is doing is that when a message is dropped on our queue, on our message on our out queue item input trigger, it's going to take that information, append process to it, and then drop it into our output queue. So now we have an input or a trigger binding and then an output binding. So with this saved, let's go ahead and open the logs. And what I can do is that I can also copy this and then just say that, let's just context, just output some message in the console. So we can go ahead and say that message has been sent for processing. All right. So let's save this. So we save that. So technically that's just our function. It tells us the function has been processed. We have a message, it adds process to it and pushes it into another queue, and then we just tell the user that it's being processed. Okay, has been sent for processing. So let's see how this works. Let's go to our Storage Explorer, and then in the JSQ item, I'm going to click Add, and then, but before then, let's cancel this. Let's just make sure that we refresh. We don't have anything in here. All right. Let me bring in the zoom. As you can see, there is nothing. All right. There's nothing in here in the demo output. So let's go to the queue. Let's add it, and let's say I am having fun. All right. So what I've just typed in here is I am having fun. Now let's just okay this. And if we come to, I should have just minimized. Now, if we come to our function, take a look at this. Let's look at the logs. What did it say? So I am having fun, and then look at the second message. Messaged has been sent for processing. It's supposed to be message, but I said message. No problem. So message has been sent for processing. Right now, let's see if it really sent it to the output queue. It's supposed to have I am having fun hyphen processed. So let's go back to our Storage Explorer. Let's go here and let me refresh, and bam! Look at that. Look at that right there. As you can see right here. I am having fun dash processed. Quite simple. All right. So that is how you create a function, all right, triggered by a queue, and then also sends the output of whatever it is to another queue for processing. So in here, we could have written any custom logic to do anything. We could have written the logic to call cognitive service, to check what has been written, to do content moderation, to do anything. It could be anything, right? Once this has been triggered, you know, you're good to go. So that is how to create an Azure function triggered by the Azure queue storage, and then also passes the information back to another queue. That is what we wanted to learn today, and that's what time is going to permit us to do today. Until I come your way again next Friday, this has been Functions Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay safe, learn something new, share something new, and let's make the world a better place using technology.